back, and it's a big, big weekend that Harry Kane will miss, and Philippe Coutinho, both injured, announced today by their respective managers, and both significant, although I do think Liverpool will have enough against Huddersfield at Anfield. But Manchester United versus Spurs, 12:30 kickoff on a Saturday, is without doubt the biggest game of the weekend, and Harry Kane, according to Pochettino, the Twitter Spurs official accounts, Sky Sports and BBC News, will not play in the game against Manchester United. Pretty conclusive, you would say, although part of me still thinks I wouldn't be surprised if Harry Kane did play tomorrow. How does it impact on Spurs against United? Spurs, without doubt, are the form team at the moment with Manchester City. Manchester United have stumbled in this third sort of window of international breaks. But Spurs have got Llorente. This is exactly why they signed him. Llorente was fantastic in the Bernabeu for Spurs a couple of weeks ago, and he's proved himself in the Premier League with Swansea. So, yes, Harry Kane's a big loss for Spurs, but Llorente is bought for this reason. And I think Spurs aren't just about Harry Kane. Spurs have got a very good midfield, a very strong defence, and a very good goalkeeper. So, I think personally that Mourinho was probably a little bit annoyed that Harry Kane's out, because he's got the excuse of no Pogba. Now, Spurs have got the excuse of no Kane. It levels it up. There's no excuse from United. They're the home team. They've got to go and win the game. And I do think United will win. I think Mourinho's going to turn up. I think tactically he'll set United up really well. And as long as the players turn up for Manchester United, I expect Manchester United to win it. I don't think it's going to be easy by any means, but I do expect Manchester United to win it. And I think it's going to be a cracker. But 12:30 games on a Saturday can be a bit of a game killer. But I'm going to go Manchester United 2-0 on that. But as I said, I'm saying but a lot. But it's a cracker. It really is a cracker. Spurs bang in form. They're both joint seconds. City are the winners really, because they'll be hoping for a draw. But one of those competitors, or both, if it's a draw, are going to drop points. And City, who we'll speak about now, West Brom away. I think it's another 3 points for Manchester City. So at least they're going to be maybe 8 points ahead of Spurs or United. And if they draw, 7 points, which is quite a significant gap when you're still in October. West Brom, good start to the season. They're struggling to score goals. And more importantly for a Tony Pulis team, they're struggling to keep a clean sheet. Man City aren't struggling to score goals. I think Man City will win comfortably. I think it may be even as high as a 3-1. So I'm going to go definitely Manchester City to win that. Also Saturday at 3 o'clock you got Arsenal versus Swansea City. Arsenal obviously not a great result last week away to Watford, but this is the sort of game that keeps Wenger in the job at Arsenal. He'll win this. Arsenal against Swansea, he'll win this. Positivity again, and until they face a real test again and lose, it keeps Wenger in the job. Big November coming up. Arsenal normally flap and lose points in November. But I think Arsenal 2-0 against Swansea. Swansea aren't terrible. Clement does a good job with limited resources, but I think Arsenal will win that 2-0 at the Etihad. No, they won't play him there. At the Emirates. Crystal Palace versus West Ham. Another 3 o'clock kickoff. Crystal Palace need a result. West Ham, so, Bilic looks like he's going to get the sack, saves his job. Good result against Spurs in the League Cup. Got hiccups now, that's bad news. I think Crystal Palace will win this. I don't know why. I think it's a very hard game to predict, but I think Crystal Palace will win it. I'm going to go 2-1 Crystal Palace. I think Zaha being back for them is important. And I think this is the sort of game, being the home team, they could grind West Ham down. Liverpool against Huddersfield, as I said, no Coutinho for Liverpool, no Mane for Liverpool, but I still think Liverpool will have enough for Huddersfield. They won their cup final last week against Manchester United. I think they'll be on a high because of that. I think it will give them a bit more confidence than they normally would. Last week, if they'd got pummeled by United, they'd go to Liverpool very, very conscious that they need to get something. I think they'll go there with a little bit more confidence, and I think that confidence will be the undoing for them. So I think Liverpool will win that, and I think it could be as much as I think I'm going to go 4-0 to Liverpool. I think they'll thrash them tomorrow. Watford at home to Stoke. I think Watford will win that comfortably. I think Mark Hughes is on borrowed time. I think he deserves the sack at Stoke. The only game he ever seems to turn up is against Manchester United. That's only 2 times a season. So I'm going to go Watford are very, very good. Marco Silva, very good record at home. I think Watford will win that, and I think they'll win it comfortably. I'm going to go 2-1. West Brom, Man City, we've done that. 5:30 kickoff, Bournemouth versus Chelsea. Bournemouth struggling for points. Big fan of Eddie Howe. Limited resources. Chelsea not playing particularly well, but I still think Chelsea will have too much for them. 2-1 to Chelsea for me in relation to that game. I'd love Bournemouth to get a result though. And then into the Sunday games. Obviously all the big clubs will be playing Europe, so they won't be playing Sunday. So you've got Brighton at home to Southampton. I think Brighton will win that. I'm going to go 1-0 Brighton. Southampton still struggling to score goals. Very good defensively. Brighton, the buzz is around the club. The buzz is around Brighton. I think Brighton might get a result, and it's a good 3 points for them to get into October. Keep that points tally rolling over. And then 4 o'clock, Leicester-Everton. Everton obviously sacking Koeman. We discussed that earlier in the week. Unsworth in as a replacement manager. Will they get that bounce of a new manager? Leicester also no manager at the moment. Shakespeare was sacked a couple of weeks ago. I don't think they've announced a new manager yet. So pretty much the caretakers against each other. Neither will be very happy with their points tally. It's a tough one, this one. I think I'm going to go for a draw, literally because it's very, very tough. 2-2. Everton could just be rejuvenated like some clubs are when they sack a manager. Or they could just continue being the slow, uninspiring team they have been this season, and Leicester could win it. So I'm going to go 2-2 with that. I don't think there's any Monday football. Oh, there is. There's a Monday match game. There's Burnley, Newcastle on Monday night at 8 o'clock. We'll all be watching that. We won't. I'm going to go with Burnley against Newcastle. I think it will be a Burnley. Well, Newcastle are quite good. Burnley have done very well. I'm going to go with a draw for that one. I think I'm going to go 1-1. I don't know about you lot. I'm going to go 1-1. Give us your thoughts. Give us your thoughts. Anyway, don't forget to drop a like on the video. We're on That's Football, the generic football channel for all football fans. So make sure you subscribe and get involved. We're not far off 20,000 subscribers, which is a massive effort from all you lot as we grow this channel. It's there for everybody to talk about football, as I said. Joe Condon says Leicester versus Everton could be a thriller. And Leicester got the ex-Saints manager Mark, says Ched Sproul. They did. That is very naive of me. They got, is it Puyol they got? Or something like that. God knows why. Claude Puel says Leicester have hired. Don't know why. Don't understand that. I was speaking about it at work with somebody the other day actually. Really weird appointment from Leicester. I can only see them getting worse for that, to be honest. It sometimes happens. You sack a manager and then you get a worse manager. And I do think that will be the way to go. Gary Wells says Mark Hughes is a United legend and a very good manager too. Obviously people will know I'm a Manchester United fan because I do the United stand. I don't think Mark Hughes is a very good manager. I don't think he, you know, maybe he's a United legend to some, but he doesn't give much love to Manchester United. In fact, he's quite a bitter twat in relation to Manchester United, to be honest. He's admitted that himself. He motivates himself against United. He doesn't do it against anybody else. I don't think he's a very good manager. I don't. I think City were bang right to get rid of him and get when they had all the money. I don't think he's a very good manager at all. But it's all about their own, isn't it? I'm a Man United fan, but I think Jose is gone. Going to park the bus again, says Hamza. Huddersfield will run Liverpool ragged, says Snaps. Well, we can all live in hope. And I only say that because, obviously, you know, Huddersfield, massive result for them last week. Imagine if they went to win at Liverpool tomorrow. I think it would be another fairy tale result. I do think Liverpool will win that game, though, by the way. Paul Clement is a really good manager, says Taboo. Yeah, I do think he is as well. Very good experience. You know, he's been at Real Madrid. Didn't go well for him at Derby, but at Swansea, with limited resources, he's doing quite well. Let's have a look what anyone else has got to say. Ryan McSwiggan, I don't see Hughes as a legend. He's a cow. How long will Conte and Klopp survive, says Sandeep. Well, I said at the start of the season, Conte will not survive the season at Chelsea, and I don't think he will. Abramovich is very, very quick with the axe. It depends on what Chelsea's fixtures are. I mean, they've got Bournemouth, then they've got United at home. They could conceivably win both of those games, and it buys Conte some time. Chelsea won the title last year because they had no European football. He's not going to win the title this year. I think Conte wants to go back to Italy anyway, so he might. I don't think he'll survive the season. Klopp, I don't think Klopp's going anywhere. We did the video on that this week. Look, Klopp, what's Klopp done for Liverpool? He's pretty much emulated what Brendan Rodgers did, and Brendan Rodgers got the sack. 2 years, pretty much the same. He's got a worse win rate. But Klopp, they love Klopp. They love his passion. And whether he's mugging Liverpool fans or not, they love his passion. And I don't think Klopp's going anywhere. unless Liverpool were going to lose like 4 or 5 games in a row. And similar to Arsenal and Wenger, I don't think that would ever happen. I think, you know, Liverpool will get beat like they did last week against Spurs. They'll get dominated and destroyed. But this week, they'll play Huddersfield and they'll beat them. And then they might win the next game. Then they'll play somebody else. They'll get beat. But then the next week, they'll win. And that's pretty much what Wenger's done for the last few years to keep his job. He'll never have a string of results bad enough to get sacked. And I think that'll be the same as Klopp. But obviously, they'll never get near winning the title either. Theon Curtin thinks that Clement at a good club would do really well. Klopp is invincible at Liverpool, says Chad. To be honest, I like it as they won't win anything. Yeah, if you're not a Liverpool fan, Klopp staying's a good thing. But a lot of Liverpool fans like him. Who do you think's a good fit for the Everton job, says Mark Bolton? I think that's a really interesting thing. I think if Everton could get Ancelotti, I think that would be huge. They've got money. They've got a decent squad. They need to add a bit, but January's not far away. And Ancelotti's a good manager. I'd be surprised if Ancelotti went there, but if I was Everton, reach for the stars. You never know what you might get. Realistically, if they can't get Ancelotti, you've got to be looking at people like Silva at Watford. I don't know whether they can get him. It's tough for Everton. It's very similar to replacing Lukaku. Lukaku's one of the best strikers in the world at the moment. If he goes, it's very hard for a club like Everton to replace. Everton need to get a manager in who can do a good job. The last thing Everton should do is go anywhere near somebody like David Moyes or Phil Neville, because David Moyes isn't a good manager and he's been at Everton. Phil Neville is a risk. He's a big, big risk. I like Phil Neville. I think he's got lots of good ideas, but he's an amateur when it comes to management and he could sink further than Koeman did. They've got to try and get the best they can, and I think that would be for me. You go for Ancelotti. If you don't get Ancelotti, you go and get somebody like Silva from, maybe even you look at a Sean Dyche or an Eddie Howe from Bournemouth. That's what I think Everton should do. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. Don't forget to drop a like on the video. Subscribe to That's Football if you're new. We're closing in on 20,000. We will have more content up for you over the weekend. Xander's away, so I don't know what watch-alongs we've got planned. To be honest, Manchester United versus Spurs is the one we would do, but I've got the United stand and that's where I'll be doing the watch-along for that, so I won't be on here doing it. So is there really a standout game other than that this weekend? I don't know. Maybe around Europe. But keep your eye on That's Football. Get involved. Thanks everyone for watching. Really enjoy the Premier League preview each week, and I hope you do too. Thanks everyone for watching. I've said that twice. Get the guitar.